took the job because I needed money. It was one of those listings you don't think too much about. Night security guard needed. Warehouse district. No experience required. The pay was surprisingly good. Too good, honestly. But I didn't ask questions. Looking back, I really should have. The warehouse sat on the edge of town, way past where streetlights stopped working properly. It was owned by some logistics company I'd never heard of. No website, no social media, just a name on paper. When I showed up for my first shift, the manager barely spoke to me. He just handed me a flashlight, a ring of keys, and said, "Do your rounds every hour. Don't go into Section C unless absolutely necessary." I asked him why. He paused, then said, "Just don't." That should have been my first warning. The building was massive, rows of tall metal shelves stacked with boxes that had no labels, forklifts parked randomly, long empty corridors that echoed every footstep. At night, it felt even bigger, like the darkness stretched the space. My job was simple. Walk through each section, check doors, make sure nothing was out of place. For the first few hours, nothing happened. Just silence, and the hum of old fluorescent lights. Around 2 a.m. during my second round, I heard something. A metallic sound, like something falling. It came from deeper inside the warehouse. At first, I thought it was just something settling. Old buildings do that. But then it happened again, closer this time. I stopped walking, held my breath, and listened. Silence. I told myself I was overthinking. Still, I decided to check it out. As I walked down one of the aisles, my flashlight started flickering. Not turning off, just dimming. Then bright again. That uneasy feeling hit me. The kind you get when you know you're not alone. I reached the end of the aisle and saw a box on the floor. It hadn't been there earlier. I was sure of it. It was slightly open, like someone had dropped it in a hurry. I crouched down and looked inside. Nothing, completely empty. That's when I heard footsteps behind me, slow, heavy, not echoing like mine, like someone walking carefully. I turned around fast. Nothing, just rows of shelves, endless, silent shelves. At this point, I radioed the manager. No response. Tried again. Static. Just static. I decided to head back to the security office. As I walked, I started noticing something weird. Some of the boxes were slightly open, like someone had been going through them. But there were no labels, no markings, just plain cardboard. Then I saw it. A sign above a large metal door. The one I was told to avoid. The door was slightly open, just enough to see darkness inside. I swear, I hadn't touched it. I stood there for a good minute, debating. Every instinct told me to leave. But curiosity got the better of me. I pushed the door open slowly. It creaked louder than it should have. Inside, there were no shelves, no boxes, just empty space and pillars. Concrete pillars stretching into darkness. The air felt colder, heavier, like walking into a basement that hadn't been opened in years. My flashlight barely reached the far walls. That's when I saw it. Something on the floor. At first I thought it was a tarp, but as I got closer, I realized it wasn't. It was plastic. Large sheets of plastic, spread out, like something had been covered. Then I heard breathing. Not mine. Slow, wet, close, too close. I spun around and my flashlight caught it. For just a second. A figure standing behind one of the pillars. Tall, too tall, and completely still. "Hello," I said. No response. But I could still hear it breathing. It moved, not walking, sliding, slightly, like it didn't need to step. I backed up slowly, trying not to make noise, but my foot hit something. A metal object. It clanged loudly. The breathing stopped. Then, rapid footsteps, coming straight at me. I ran, didn't look back, just ran toward the dew, my flashlight shaking so bad I could barely see. As I reached the exit, I felt something brush against my back. Cold. Not like a hand, more like something dragging across me. I slammed the door shut, locked it, and just stood there, breathing hard, listening. Nothing. No footsteps, no breathing, just silence. I didn't finish my shift. I grabbed my stuff and left immediately. Didn't even clock out. The next morning, I got a call from the manager. He asked, "Did you go into Section C?" I didn't answer. He stayed quiet for a few seconds, then said something that still sticks with me. "We lock that section every night because whatever's in there isn't supposed to get out." I never went back, and I never got paid. But honestly, that's the least of what I lost that night. This happened about 2 years ago, when I was living alone in a small apartment complex. It wasn't a bad place, just old, the kind of building where the walls are thin and everything creaks, even when no one's moving. I didn't think much of it at the time, until my neighbor gave me his key. His name was Daniel, late 30s maybe, quiet guy, kept to himself most of the time. We only spoke a few times in passing, just the usual stuff. "Hey, how's it going?" Nothing personal, but one night, everything changed. It was around 9 p.m. I heard knocking on my door, not loud, just steady. When I opened it, Daniel was standing there, but something felt off. He looked tired. Not normal tired, like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes were red, and he kept looking behind him, like he was expecting someone. He didn't even say hello. He just held out a key and said, "If anything happens, please check my apartment." I actually laughed a little. Thought he was joking, but he didn't smile, not even a little. I asked him what he meant. He hesitated, then said something that didn't make sense at the time. "Just don't let it stay there too long." Before I could ask anything else, he turned and walked away. Fast. Almost like he didn't want to be in the hallway anymore. I didn't think much of it. I put the key on my table and forgot about it. Until later that night, around 2 a.m. I woke up for no reason, no sound, no dream, just awake. At first, everything was quiet, but then I heard something from the other side of the wall, Daniel's apartment. It sounded like movement, slow, dragging movement, like furniture being pulled across the floor. I checked my phone. 2 a.m. Who moves furniture at that time? I tried to ignore it, closed my eyes, but the sound didn't stop. It got worse. Now it sounded like something falling, then a thud, then silence, and then a voice. It was low, too low to understand words, but it was definitely a voice. And it wasn't Daniel. I froze, listening, trying to make sense of it. Then I heard something that made my stomach drop. A second voice, same tone, same low, distorted sound. 2 voices, talking, inside his apartment. At 2:30 in the morning, I grabbed my phone, thought about calling someone. But who would I even call? I ended up just sitting there, listening. Eventually, it stopped. No footsteps, no door, just silence. The next morning, Daniel's door was closed. Everything looked normal. I knocked, no answer. I tried again, still nothing. That's when I remembered the key. I stood there for a long time, debating. Part of me knew I shouldn't, but another part kept thinking about what he said. If anything happens, so I used the key. The door opened slowly, and the first thing I noticed was the smell. Not strong, but stale. Like the air hadn't moved in a long time. The apartment looked normal at first. Living room, couch, TV, nothing out of place. But then I saw the floor. Scratches. Long, deep scratches. Like something heavy had been dragged. Again and again. In different directions. I stepped inside, carefully. "Daniel!" I called. No response. I checked the kitchen. Empty. Bathroom. Empty. Bedroom. Also empty. But something wasn't right. In the bedroom, there was a closet door, slightly open, just a crack, and from inside, I heard it, breathing, slow, uneven, not loud, but enough to hear in the silence. My heart started racing. I told myself, maybe he's in there, but something didn't feel human about it. I slowly walked toward the closet, each step louder than the last. The breathing stopped. Right as I reached the door, complete silence. I stood there, hand on the handle, and pulled it open. Empty, completely empty. No clothes, no boxes, nothing, just darkness. But the smell inside was stronger. And the floor, more scratches, circular ones, like something had been moving in place, spinning, over and over again. That's when I heard it, behind me. The bedroom door, slowly closing. I turned, too late. It shut, soft, quiet, but I knew. I didn't close it. Then came the voice, right behind me. Not loud, not aggressive, just a whisper. "Don't leave." I froze. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, and then I felt it, breathing, on the back of my neck. I turned slowly. Nothing, but the air felt wrong, heavy, like something was there, just out of sight. And then I noticed the mirror. Across the room, I could see myself, and behind me, something standing there, tall, too thin, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, watching me. I didn't turn around this time. I just ran, grabbed the door, opened it, and got out. I didn't stop running until I was back in my apartment. I locked my door, sat down, tried to process everything. Then I remembered something. Daniel's words. Don't let it stay there too long. That's when it hit me. He wasn't asking me to check his apartment. He was asking me to make sure something didn't stay inside it. I never went back, but that night, around the same time, I heard it again. Not from his apartment, from mine. Slow, dragon movement, right outside my bedroom door, and a voice, this time clear. "Thank you for opening the door." I moved out the next day. Didn't take everything, didn't care, because whatever was in that apartment wasn't there anymore. And I'm pretty sure it knows where I live. I worked night shifts at a call center for about 3 months. It was one of those jobs you take when you don't have many options. Low requirements, decent pay, overnight hours. The building was open 24/7, but the night shift was almost always empty. Most people didn't last long. At the time, I thought it was just because of the hours. Now I know it wasn't that. The office was on the 5th floor of an old commercial building. During the day, it was loud, busy, normal. At night, completely different. Lights dimmed, half the floor shut down. Rows of cubicles sitting empty in the dark. Only a handful of us worked overnight. Usually 3, maybe 4 people, max. My job was simple. Answer incoming calls, help customers with basic issues, log everything into the system. But there was one strange rule, something they mentioned during training, almost like a joke. If you ever get a call with no caller ID, don't answer it. Everyone laughed. So did I. I assumed it was just some weird internal thing. Spam filter, system glitch, whatever. I didn't think about it again. Not until my 3rd week. The shift started at 11 p.m. By 2 a.m. The calls slowed down. By 3. Almost nothing. That was the worst time. Not because of work, but because of how quiet it got. You could hear everything. Air vents humming, chairs creaking. Even your own typing sounded too loud. And sometimes, things that didn't make sense. Like footsteps in parts of the office that were completely empty. I asked one of my co-workers about it once. He just shrugged, said, "Building's old," but he didn't sound convinced. It happened at exactly 3 a.m. I remember the time because I checked right after. My screen lit up. Incoming call. No caller ID. Just a blank field. I stared at it for a few seconds, remembering what they said during training. Don't answer it. I almost ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me. So I picked up. "Thank you for calling." I stopped mid-sentence. There was no one on the line, just static, but not normal static. It sounded layered, like multiple frequencies overlapping, and underneath it, something else. Breathing. I didn't hang up right away. I don't know why. I just sat there, listening. Then the breathing stopped, and the static changed. It got quieter, and then I heard my own voice, coming through the headset, not live, a recording, of something I had said earlier that night, word for word. My stomach dropped, because I hadn't recorded anything, and this system didn't echo calls like that. Then it repeated it again, but slower, distorted, like something was trying to learn how to say it. I finally hung up. My hands were shaking a little. I told myself it was just a glitch, some weird system error. But then my co-worker across the room looked at me and said, "Did you just take that call?" I nodded. He didn't laugh, didn't say anything else, just turned back to his screen. That silence told me more than anything. The next night, it happened again, same time, 3 a.m., same thing, no caller ID. This time, I didn't answer. I just let it ring. It rang longer than normal calls, way longer. Then it stopped. And immediately, my phone rang again. Same call. Again and again and again. Like something was insisting. Around the fourth call, I heard something, not through the headset. Behind me, a chair moving, slowly. I turned around. No one, but one of the chairs, was slightly out of place and still moving. Just a little, like it had just been touched. The phone stopped ringing. Everything went quiet. Too quiet. Then my headset clicked, like a call had connected. But I didn't answer anything. And then, a voice, clear, right in my ear. "You already answered." I ripped the headset off, stood up, looked around. The office was empty. Even my co-worker was gone. His chair pushed back, screen still on, like he had just left suddenly. I went to log out, but the system wouldn't respond. Instead, a new screen appeared. Call log. Dozens of entries, all from unknown, all at 3 a.m. But the dates went back months. Even before I started working there, one of the calls started playing automatically, and I heard voices, different people, all saying the same things, their greetings, their names, their scripts. Then silence, then distortion, then something copying them. That's when I realized. It wasn't just calling, it was learning. The phone rang again. 3 a.m. This time, I answered. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I could end it. The line was quiet. Then, perfect clarity. My voice. "Thank you for calling." But I wasn't speaking. It was. Then it said something new, something I had never said. "I'm at your desk." I turned around slowly and saw it, sitting in my chair, not fully visible, like the shape of a person, but wrong, flickering, incomplete, and where the face should be. Nothing, just shifting darkness. I ran, didn't stop, didn't look back, down the stairs, out of the building, into the street. I quit the next day, didn't go back, tried to forget about it, but a week later, I got a call from an unknown number at exactly 3 a.m. I didn't answer, but my voicemail picked it up, and when I checked it, there was no static, no distortion, just a voice, perfectly clear, my voice, saying, Thank you for calling. I'm still here.